So today we have Rajesh from Bing, and Rajesh just did a phenomenal session yesterday on Bing Webmaster. Some great information, and thank you so much for taking out time. Rajesh is a Principal Group Program Manager for Search Ecosystem. It's really long title and a great title to have. And we kind of want to get some information on, why Bing is unique. It's all over the place, especially for travel, especially for small businesses.
Definitely. I mean, we are very excited about Bing. We have done a ton of work with Bing, and we are glad that the user have been liking it. The landscape has been, very, very supportive of what we have done. But to be honest, we did a lot of user research. We mined a lot of data that we gathered over the years. So think of it as there are some sessions. I'll give you example of search. There are some sessions which are you just go in and search, get the result, come back and you're done. Versus there are some queries which are multi-session queries. There are some keywords which are or searches which are single keyword searches. There are some searches that are multiple keyword long phrase searches. So it makes it a very complex space. So what we have done is we have figured out, we built an engine in the back end, search engine, that is going to be as comprehensive as it can. So our goal is to give you the most comprehensive coverage on the internet. That's number one. Number two is, yes, you have a lot of content, but what if if you make a search and you have 32 million results? I don't think that's going to help versus when you have 30 million results. What you're looking for is it relevant to what I want to do? And is it organized that I can consume that content in an easier way? So that brings me to point number two, which is we want to give you the results in a way that it makes sense to the users. And that's where if you do query for Seattle versus YouTube versus a hotel in, let's say, San Jose, the table of content which comes on the left side are organized differently. They come up with different groupings because then it knows Seattle is a city versus Fairmont in San Jose downtown is a hotel versus U2 is an outback. So does that make sense? So that is number two. Number three is really making sure that we go through and we help you get ahead in the decision cycle. And that is where I think travel is one of our key scenario and key vertical that we focused on with Bing because we think a lot of transactional queries happen on travel domain. So that's where we help our users in travel where we give them the reviews, we give them all the information that help them, let's say, book a room or get more informed about a certain hotel. So, and that is why we call Bing the decision engine, not just a search engine, because it helps you stay informed and get you further ahead in the decision cycle.
Okay, great. So what can small businesses do? Typically, you are looking at small businesses, they have pretty good website, not necessarily blog, they're really not that active in social media. What can they do to rank high organically in universal search on Bing?
That's a great question, and number one, I think.
So let's give me 10 reasons.
Okay, 10 reasons for ranking high or 10 reasons for
how to rank high.
How to rank high. Yes. That's a great question. What I would say is number one, small businesses, if you have a website, I think ranking is something that is important. However, what you should really look at is the traffic that is coming to you. And number two is the conversion. You may get a lot of traffic, but if it is not converting, it is not much worth doing. So I would say first thing that you should look at is the transactions, is the transactional queries. How much is your conversion? You may not be the first result, which is perfectly okay. But if your conversion from a visitor to a service consumer that you are offering is higher, then you probably have a good success. So I would say that is number one thing. Number two, search on Bing for Bing Local Listing Center.
Okay.
That's number two. Take control of your listing. Own your listing. Let's say if you are a hotel owner, you take control of your listing. There may be, we go and get a lot of content from outside, we scrape some of it, so there may be chances where we have old content or inaccurate content. Your goal is to own your listing. As I said, go search for Bing Local Listing Center.
Okay.
So go own your listing, get the updated information, and so
update your profile on
update
local.
your profile on local, the phone numbers, what have you, the website URL, and you should be, once we have all the up-to-date information, you would be ranked, depending on how your site is, but give a complete experience to the user.
Okay.
That is, I would say, very important. Those are some of the things we do.
Okay, that's 2 points. Few more. What about participation in social media and blogs and Twitters? Does that, or images or YouTube videos, does that impact at all in?
I think if you really look at from a linking strategy perspective, it definitely helps your content. What I always believe is you should design your website. You should always design your content, and I talked about it in my sessions for the users. When you are looking at a market, there are some customers, there's some users who are very savvy on internet. They are very good with internet. There's some who are very savvy with mobile space. There's some who are very savvy on social media. So your goal is to sort of put a holistic picture together. And how do I target that audience? How do I design my site? How do I design my entire marketing strategy so that I can cater to that? And of course, once you have a holistic story and you weave that in a much better experience on the website, it is definitely going to help in the search engines.
So, one question we always get asked, and I think it takes time to educate or to understand the impact of social media. We see a lot of algorithm, a lot of searches are coming, and images and all your profiles, your profiles on social media, all of that is part of universal ranking, but it's very hard to measure return on investment. How would you define, let's say organic, universal on Bing, how would you measure return on investment in your, let's say website has everything, but if you have to really say, is my paid search is working? Is my organic strategy is working? Is my images, social media strategy is working? What is a right way of defining return?
Very good. I think that's a great question. And if I'm a business owner, I'd look at what's my key metric. Am I providing a service? Am I providing a transaction? Am I providing a sign-up? So what does transaction success mean to me? And once you have that figured out, then it is much more easier because I see organic listing, I see paid listing, I see social media, I see all these as a vehicle for you to initiate the transaction, for you to get the user, a consumer of that service at the entry door.
To your website.
To your website. But from that point on, it is, then you start measuring, first of all, the entry point, and second is, what is the rate of conversion? I think that is the biggest metric that you should look at is, are the users, the visitors that are coming to my website, how do I make them users of my service versus just the visitor who come in and browse the site and go back? I think that is the key metric which I would, if I'm a business owner, I would